Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Don't go away. On this show, we have someone from Hot Springs, Dennis Berry with Bowtie Financial Management, but we're going to be talking about foster care, and they've had over 150 children come through their home, changing the world one heart at a time. We'll be right back. Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show we have a very special guest who's deeply involved in fostering and foster care here in the state of Arkansas and previously even in other states. So we're going to answer some of your questions about how you can change a life one heart at a time. Our special guest is Dennis Berry, all the way from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Welcome to the show, Dennis.
Thank you very much.
We're so glad to have you. So before we get involved, I'm just going to interrupt myself. You were wearing a bow tie.
Yes.
Why the bow tie, Dennis?
Well, I was a financial advisor with a firm down in Shreveport, Louisiana for a number of years. And when my family first moved to Shreveport, one of the gentlemen gave me a bow tie. And so I started wearing a bow tie on Monday. And then I wore it on Tuesday. And then I said, I only have one bow tie. I can only wear it once a week. So I did bow tie Tuesdays.
Oh, cool.
Well, then the birthday came around and I got a bow tie. And then Christmas came around, another bow tie. So I had bow ties to wear more days of the week. And a couple of years later, that's all I wore is bow ties. So for the last 15 years, I've only worn bow ties.
And you have I'll call it a ministry, but it's really a profession. And what is the name of your company?
So my investment advising firm is Bowtie Wealth Management. And I went with the bow tie. Instead of my name, it's about the brand, it's about the bow tie.
And people identify you and the bow tie, and
they certainly do.
Yeah.
In fact, if I go to Lowe's on a weekend, I do get questions about where my bow tie is.
Oh, you do?
And so I had to have some bracelets made up so I can wear bow ties on the weekends.
So tell me a little bit. This first segment, as I explained, is to let the audience to get to know you, just like what we're talking now. Where did you grow up?
I grew up actually just a couple miles down the road from this studio where we are today. Right here in Benton, Arkansas.
In Benton?
In Benton.
What street?
Well, I grew up on Highway 5 near Alcoa.
I'll be.
Right where the gas stations are for Kroger's was my backyard.
Well, goodness gracious.
Right across from Rivendell.
Yeah.
And then I grew up in Hidden Valley on Misty Drive.
Did your parents ever send you over to Rivendell? Or did they ever go over about you?
No, they did not. We're very fortunate there. But we've had some kids who've been in Rivendell, and they do a good job for kids.
And we have at Second Chance Ranch on occasion to visit that campus too. We're going to talk more about fostering, but let me ask you a question. If you grew up on Highway 5 in this great, wonderful community of Benton, where'd you go to junior high and high school?
Well, we actually started out at Our Lady of Fatima, the elementary school, the Catholic church here in Benton. And then we moved into town, and so then I went to Westside Junior High, which is no longer here.
Yeah.
And then graduated from Benton High School itself.
I attended Westside Junior High in Jonesboro. That's where I grew up. I just quit growing very early, at a very early age.
I can tell.
Yeah. So you married?
Yes, I'm very married, and we have been married for 25 years this year to Natalie.
What's your anniversary?
September 8th.
I just celebrated a few years myself on March the 30th, 50 years.
Congratulations.
So isn't God good to us?
Very good. We're very blessed, very fortunate.
Again, you've been married 25 years.
Yes.
Graduated Benton High School.
Sure did.
Did you go to college?
Yes. My wife and I met at University of Arkansas at Little Rock, actually.
UALR. Was it UALR at the time?
It was UALR.
I'm so old it was what was it? Little Rock? LRU?
LRU.
Looking off camera, which I'm not supposed to do. LRU, yeah. I went to Central High School, so LRU, right across from LRU, or ULR now, was the McDonald's, and there was a Shoney's. That was the happening street back in the day.
It was. It sure
Bobby
was.
socks and poodle dresses, and I wore neither.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. So, did your wife, is she also from Benton area?
She's actually from Clifton, Texas.
Clifton, where in the world?
Clifton, it's south of Dallas, west of Waco.
Yeah, went to Bible school in Dallas, but I've never heard of Clifton.
Small town out there.
Y'all been married 25 years. Do you happen to have any children?
We happen to have a set of twins, actually.
Yeah.
We have boy-girl twins that are 20 years old. Our son is living at our family farm in Oklahoma near Altus, and our daughter is a sophomore down at University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
University of Louisiana, Lafayette. That's a nice area.
It's a great area. We love to go
How
down.
long did you live in Shreveport?
Well, we lived in Shreveport, which is northern Louisiana, for 5 years. And when we got down there, she decided she wanted to go to school there because it was nice and warm.
Yeah,
She likes the warm weather.
She likes the crawfish?
She enjoys the crawfish boils, not so much the crawfish themselves.
She
loves the camaraderie, the festivities, the people that are there, yes.
At what point did you and your wife get involved in fostering?
Back in 2007, we had an issue with a family member, and there were some kids involved that we just knew were going to end up into foster care.
Yeah.
And in preparation for that and asking questions from people involved with Child Protection Services, we knew that we needed to be ready in case they came into foster care. So it just happened to be the time that the call was starting, and the call was just launching outside of Pulaski County. We lived in Lonoke County at the time, and we were in one of the first classes that were trained by the call outside of Pulaski County.
Wow.
And that was in 2008. Fortunately, those children never came into foster care. But during the training in 2008, when we found out how bad the situation was in Arkansas, Natalie and I said, we can't be so selfish to only open our home to family members.
Yeah.
And so when we completed the training and our home was opened, 2 hours later, we got a call for the first kids.
Well, what did you find out? We got about 2 minutes of this segment. What did you find out back then, which has been a number of years ago? What was the situation with the crisis of foster care, as if we're pretending it's only a crisis now?
The crisis was the same then. There were thousands of kids in care. There were not thousands of foster homes. There were, 1,500 foster homes maybe, and 5,000 kids in care back then. I don't remember exactly those numbers, but it's very similar to the situation it was today. There just were not enough homes. And even in our class of trainees in Lonoke, we had about 6 families.
Yeah.
And 6 families in a training class in Lonoke County is not enough.
Not near enough. So when you went through that training and y'all received your first child, or 2 or 10, what did you receive?
We get 2 at first.
Yeah. How old were they?
Gosh, those children were 3 and 4, I believe.
So they're probably 18, 19 or so now?
They are now, yeah.
Any contact with them?
Not with them,
Yeah.
no. And they actually happened to be kidnapped out of California.
Goodness gracious.
Were the first 2.
So we're living in a generation where the church, believers, really need to be aware. You became aware because of a crisis that was somehow related within people that you knew within the family dynamic.
Yes.
But it's way beyond that. And when people find out the seriousness of the need, one reason this show is on is to help people understand how they can be involved and engaged in providing the answer to these hurting hearts. We're going to take just a brief break here in just a moment, and we're going to come back and kind of pick up where are we now in foster care. You're a Marine, so you know how to solve problems, right?
We'll address the problems.
Yeah, and we can do it working together, and that's why this show is on the air, so that you can make this connection with ministries like The Call and Project Zero and many other ministries like Second Chance Youth Ranch. So we'll be right back.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Our guest, if you're just now tuning in, where you been, but our guest is Dennis Berry from Hot Springs with Bowtie Financial something.
Wealth management, that's
Wealth
right.
management. What if I don't have wealth? What if I just had a little bit of money? Can you help me a little bit?
We're going to help take care of you
Help
and
build.
get you there.
Yeah.
That's right. Get you to your goals.
So Dennis, you and your wife been married 25 years. You've got twins.
That's right.
They're almost grown.
Almost. They're working on it.
They're 20.
They're making progress.
So they'll be moving out of the house when they're 30.
They are on their own right now. They're doing great.
One's at college.
Yes.
The other's doing what, did you say?
He's out working at our ranch in Oklahoma, actually.
What do you have on the ranch?
Just some cows.
Just cows.
Just some cows.
You know, I met a guy it's a long story, which all my stories are, but I met a guy one time and I kept asking a mutual acquaintance that we didn't really know each other, but we just all were together. And I said, what does he do? And he was dressed in cutoffs and flip-flops. And she said, they just own some farm. They're one of the largest farms in Texas. And so I kept asking him, so what do you do? Oh, our family, we own some cattle. Well, the real story is one of the richest families in Texas.
Yes.
And around the cattle were oil derricks. But he was a most unpresuming guy, easygoing, easy to talk to, and we just happened to be in a car together trying to get to a city, and the airlines were canceled because of weather.
Yes.
And he never really told me how large his farm was or who his family was.
It's just some cows. He's
Yeah,
just
some
trying to help
cows.
out.
In your case, it'd be holy cows.
They should be. That's right.
And so your son kind of runs the farm?
Well, he takes care of it for us, and he works at another company doing some trucking and different things as well.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So you guys have been involved in foster care since 2000?
2008.
And so that'd be about 15 years?
About 15 years.
Y'all probably had, what, 4 or 5 kids come through your family in your home?
We did last month. Yeah. So the total number of kids we've had is about 163.
In just a few years.
That's right.
Are you one of the, hopefully, several homes in Garland County that in the middle of the night where there's someone who's unfortunately been removed from a home and they need a couch?
We are from
or
time
a
to time.
bed?
We are that family. We try to be, and we've got some other great families in Garland County that do that as well. But yes, we open our home, and before we had a support center in Garland County, we would have them, DCFS would bring kids to our house, and they would actually bathe them if they needed to in the middle of the night.
Wow. That's
Yes.
how I grew up. Our house was the drop-off place in Craighead County up in Jonesboro. We'd go to bed with 10, wake up with 12. I think the most children we ever had in the house, counting me and my 4 siblings, there were 5 of us, was 19.
We haven't gone that high, but
Yeah.
we've had 8 kids at a time. So
Yeah.
what is that? 8 and 12. We've had 12 of us in the house.
Yeah.
There was one time back pre-COVID, we had some girls, and we had a lot of kids coming through in fall of 19. And one morning we got into the truck to take the kids to school, and one of the girls looked in the back seat. She said, "I'm not even going to ask." There was another kid in the car. It's so many kids we had that month or 2 months when they were with us. It was a lot.
So does your wife do fostering, what we would call full-time? Meaning you're the professional and she's there to bring the dream
I would
to
say
pass?
yes. She's a fitness instructor.
Oh, okay.
And so she teaches morning classes. So a lot of times I have the morning drop-offs and the morning routines.
Fitness center, where does she teach?
She teaches at the Hot Springs Health and Fitness Center and at the YMCA.
I know
in
you can't
town.
tell by looking, but I was a member there from 51 to COVID.
She was
So,
there during COVID anyway, or we missed you
So
there.
I probably know her too.
It's Natalie is who that is.
My
there.
wife and I have said several times in the last 2 weeks, we got to get back to the health and fitness. Look at me. Look what's happened since
She
COVID
would love
hit.
to see you back there, you and your wife, that's for sure.
So,
But when she's done with classes, noonish or so, that's when she gets into the dental appointments, the orthodontist appointments, the therapy sessions
All
to
the
take the
things that kids need.
all the things that kids need when they're not at school.
now, when you first started with fostering, you and your wife, in 15 years ago,
Yes.
what has changed within the system where are you getting more support from the community and from those within the foster care system than you previously got 15 years ago?
I believe we do now, because again, as we were recruited through the call, it was an infant organization at that point. It's grown tremendously, fortunately, for families. And so the call malls that have opened up, the call support centers that have opened up, the assistance with handling traumatized children, the Hope Conference that is organized every year to give foster parents training, spiritual support, and more. The call has gotten more active in raising support in the community and is working with other organizations to do that as well. And that's led to presentations at church, and those presentations, they raise up the support within the church for the foster family support families to help babysit the kids or watch children or provide material needs that the kids have, or just a spiritual and emotional support that foster families need.
Yeah, call serves a real important element in fostering and recruiting foster families too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in churches and speaking to civic organizations, recruiting and getting the message out and making sure people are aware of the need for more Christian-based foster families.
You mentioned church, so just for anybody that's viewing, this is on a Christian network and airs through the internet through all over the world. What role did faith in your relationship with the Lord have to do with your heart for hurting kids?
It was very important to us. And, you know, we go to the Catholic Church, we're Catholic, and the Catholic parish that we were with at Cathedral of St. Andrew in Little Rock at the time was very supportive of the mission we were taking on. And it was through that support, and now through the continued support at St. John the Baptist in Hot Springs, the support of the church and our other support families really allows us to keep going on, because it's very difficult to be a foster parent and deal with the secondary trauma that you receive that comes from the children that are in your home. Yeah.
Now, St. John the Baptist Church, that's on?
It's on Grand.
Big white,
the big white church up on the hill right across from the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, beautiful place. So faith plays a significant role in what you and your wife do and in your profession as well. So when y'all go to Mass, you take your foster kids with you?
You know, we do. And so many of them get so much out of it. Yeah. You hear so many stories that they didn't go to church, or they did go to church, or they had an uncle or a grandfather that was a minister or a pastor at their church they went to, or they haven't been in a long time. And we're active in the parish. We are lectors. We are Eucharistic ministers. We usher. And so we get up and we move around the church, and it gives those children a good experience of how to participate in a Christian service.
Yeah, very important. Faith plays an important role in our lives here, and I think overall in so many of our foster care ministries around not just the state but the United States. Hey, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back with Dennis Berry here in just a minute.
My name is Peyton, and I'm about to turn 12 on October 13th.
My name is Brody, and I just turned 8.
Most things I like to do for fun is like play video games, go outside sometimes, ride bikes.
Play with my brother. We like to play football, like to jump on the trampoline.
We love to play with dolls and cats.
And I saw you also had Pokemon cards. Tell me about that.
I like to play them most of the time, and sometimes I like to battle people so I can like get the Pokemon cards.
We can play together, and sometimes I win and sometimes he wins, and we trade.
He's kind, he's loving.
He's nice, he shares stuff, but not all the time.
Do you guys live together?
Not right now.
We used to.
Then I got sent away because I was acting up.
Do you want to live together?
Yeah. Yes, because we just love each other. The only thing I can really explain is I love him and he loves me pretty much. And we don't want to leave each other.
So we want to find a family to take you both forever.
That would be okay. I would like that. Would you, buddy? Mm-hmm. Because I want a family that would be nice. Any family that would like to adopt me, I'll just take it.
Me too.
If you had $1 million, what would you do with it?
electronics, and
A dog.
If you could wish for one thing, what would you wish for?
Us to be together.
ditto.
And somebody to adopt us.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. It is my prayer that during these brief breaks, and you watch some of these videos, many of them provided by Project Zero, that you see faces and hear the hearts of children who need you to make that phone call and make that connection with the call, Second Chance Youth Ranch, the Baptist Home. There's so many opportunities for you to get involved, and there's nothing that you can't do to make a difference in the hearts of a hurting child. Our special guest on this show, all the way from Hot Springs, is Dennis Berry with Bowtie Wealth Management.
Very good, thank you.
You guys have been involved in fostering now for over 15 years.
We have, and you mentioned Project Zero,
Yeah.
and they do a great job. And then the Heart Gallery does a good job
Yes.
too of getting the faces of the children that need to be adopted
Yeah.
out there. The last time I did a presentation at a church and the Heart Gallery was there,
Yeah.
I saw 4 children that we had in our homes at different points of time that are still on the Heart Gallery.
Explain to the audience now, what is the Heart Gallery?
So the Heart Gallery is a grouping of photos that is able to be moved around around the state to different churches or businesses that shows the faces, the
Yeah.
real faces of these kids that are looking and that need families
Yeah.
that are available for adoption.
The reason Project Zero is such good partners with us is they produce the videos and we get to show them where,
Yes.
because they work directly with DCFS, we as a ministry can't show the faces of our children.
That's right.
So even though Project Zero just showed 3 of our kids recently, and I review these shows, and I tell you, I cry every time.
It's very
they show
touching.
the Heart
We
Gallery.
had some friends from Cabot text
Yeah.
us just a few weeks ago that a new Project Zero film was shown, and they recognized one of the little girls that we had a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's very touching, and it shows that the foster families and the families they interact with, these kids are important. These
Yeah.
kids need families. These kids make an impression on people.
Now you're
They
very
really-
you're very involved in the chamber in Hot Springs.
Yes.
I've read your bio. It was exhausting to see all the stuff that you've been involved in.
You know, I'm very lucky that I have a business that flows real well and supportive clients
Yeah.
that allows me to spend a great part of my day helping the community and helping
Yeah.
the different foster care organizations in town.
But you and your church, St. John the Baptist Catholic Church,
Yes.
there in Hot Springs, y'all did a float recently. Y'all been involved in the parade in
That's
Hot
right.
Springs.
There's a group of us from the church that put together a float in the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. It's called the St. Patty's Wagons.
Is that little street?
It's 98 feet long,
Yeah.
Bridge Street
Yeah,
in
Bridge
Hot
Street.
Springs. And so our float that we've had for the last 7 years, we've been very fortunate to have several of our foster kids that have been with us during the month of March ride the float with us. And those have been great times where those kids have been able to throw throws to people and wave at their friends in the crowd. And some of them have actually seen their parents in the crowd, so they got an extra visit that week to see their parents that were watching them and screaming for them on the float.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was really good. You know, this year we had the great fortune of seeing 3 different families of foster children that we've had in the past actually watching the floats, watching the parade, and with their family. So they were reunified with their family. They were doing good out in the community, having a fun time at a great family-oriented event.
Yeah, and I used to ride on that float.
That's right. That's
So
right.
tell me, in this segment, we've got a few minutes. Tell me what it's like to have foster children in your home. Do y'all go out to eat together? You go to the park, you throw a ball, you go on vacation?
We do. We do all
You
that.
do?
We do all that
Like
with
a
the
real
kids.
family?
Like a real normal family,
Yeah.
because that's what we are. And sometimes that's very difficult for the kids to understand because they're new to us. There's not the trust on their side yet, so they have a hard time accepting that love and compassion.
Yeah.
And so you have to share it very generously and carefully at times. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, we were at a restaurant eating dinner with some other family, extended family, and one of the foster children we had at the time. And DCFS brought us another child at the restaurant, to the restaurant,
Yeah.
because they needed a place for him to go.
DCFS pick up the ticket?
No, they did not. No, they did not. But that's okay. That's one thing we're going to do for them
Yeah.
to help them as well.
Yeah.
That's part of our mission to help them as well. And it was amazing, these two boys, these were teenage boys that have been in foster care for a while, to have them list the number of schools that they had been, because there weren't enough families that could keep them long term. They kept having to be moved to another family.
Multiple families.
So there's still such a need for families to pray about their calling for the need for more foster families.
Yeah, and this morning, just before I came to studio, I stopped over in Benton. We're finishing up a demolition of a little building, and as soon as my surveyor gets me the survey, we're going to build another foster home. It'll probably be $250,000, 5 bedrooms, because there's not enough homes. And we'll put a foster family in there, a beautiful home. We'll give them a van, a food stipend, some compensation, and give them a beautiful opportunity. We say it like this: we give you everything, including the children.
Yes.
Isn't that a great deal?
It is, because the children are going to be one right after another. There's such a need for that.
We're specializing in a sibling group. So with that large of a home, we'll take in anywhere from a sibling group of 4 to 6 kids, along with the parents, the foster parents, and there's probably 1 or 2 children of their own. We'll give them a 15-passenger van and so forth. We got 2 minutes in this closing segment, Dennis. Why should anybody get involved in foster care? Why should they make the call? And look at camera number 3 right there.
You should get into foster care. If you read your Bible, you can pull up any scripture verse that it leads back to helping others and caring for others. And there are so many great missions out there that do take care of people. But when you foster, you are showing children a way to have a wonderful life later on. You're showing children that there are caring people in the world, and that they can have hope, that there will be people there to support them and help them become normal, more successful people, and to get out of the trauma that they've been through. There are several great missions out there, but when you pray about that, this is the one where there's such a great need. You know, in Garland County, we have over 200 foster children, but we only have about 40 foster families. There's not enough families. And it's like that in every state of the union.
So you nailed it. Make the call. Call the call. If you don't know how to do that, go to secondchanceyouthranch.org, 2CYR.org. Visit our website. There's links there. Make a phone call, 501-594-5200. Let us know. We'll help connect you. These organizations, we don't just recruit you. We will literally walk you from A through the rest of your life as a foster parent. We'll provide the counselors, the case managers, case workers. We'll come alongside. And the organizations like ours and the Call and so many other great ministries, we're here to help you, but you've got to take that step of faith. Children are waiting on you. We'll see you next week right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Bye-bye.